Hey, Andy with P&W Repair. Today we're going to be replacing a breakaway system on my car trailer. As you can see, it's seen better days. Luckily Amazon came through and we have some brand new Chinesium parts to put on it. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward repair. We're getting rid of the broken stuff and putting in the new stuff. I guess the only thing to it that might be a little different is our wire colors. Luckily, on the new unit, they made it real simple and labeled what wire is for what. So white's your ground, which is traditionally how it's going to be on a trailer. Blue is, again, traditionally your brake wire. And on this unit, black is actually the positive side of the battery. So on the old unit, my wires, I have a white ground, blue brake, and a red battery power. I don't even have to confirm that by putting a meter on it, just because the box is broken and I can simply see the red wire attached to the positive terminal. So without further ado, we're going to pop this old one off, get our new one wired in. Let's do this. So it looks like for the box mounting, got a couple 5/16 bolts. So we'll knock those out. If they don't, I'll just shear right off from rust. Let's hope they don't. I don't really need more work than this. And I don't know whether or not these are a universal bolt pattern between battery boxes or not for these things, but we're going to find out. And if not, it would appear that these are self-tapping screws, so guess what? We'll tap new holes. There are also extremely long sheet metal screws for whatever reason. For some reason I thought that was a screw in my hand and not my nut driver bit. Okay, so we'll leave that hanging there. We're going to have to cut the existing harness and splice into it, put some heat shrink on it, make it real nice. We'll take away the breakaway cable, get that off. That one is a 3/8, just a single sheet metal screw. All right, so I'm gonna go get some diagonal cutters and some wire strippers, a couple wire splices, and we will get rid of the old one and get that new one in there. So we've actually made a few developments here. I went and grabbed the electrical tools to splice in the new wires. After I pulled these wires out of the frame rail to figure out where they had them spliced, because I'm going to try to cut them right at that splice, I found this. They have heat shrink butt connectors on here attaching the harness, yet they didn't heat shrink them. What purpose does this serve? All you're allowing is moisture to be introduced into that connection, which is going to cause corrosion, which is going to cause high resistance, which is going to cause this to fail. When you pay the kind of money that I paid for this trailer, this should not happen. These manufacturers need to get their act together. And I mean, pay attention to the small things like this. This is pathetic. I'll take a little more off of that actually. Okay, so that needs to go to this black wire. Come on. I don't know about you guys, but when you wire cars up for a living, I like my crimps with the pliers to be the same direction on splices. I like them to be in the same location, if that makes any sense. The dimple part of it. Not that it really matters, but it's just one of those things that matters to me, you know? Okay. Now for our ground wire. Want a little more yet again. Okay. Get our ground from the box. I also don't like when wires fray and you have individual strands that aren't in the splice. Another pet peeve of mine. Again, isn't going to make any bit of difference if you have one or two strands loose. But for someone like myself, you better believe it does. Okay, so last wire here, we need to go from the breakaway cable on the harness side. Other side of that breakaway cable will go into our box. Simple enough. This is about as simple as it gets when it comes to wiring anything, really. Get some splices on those ones. What's going on here? All right. So I'll cut that side trailer harness. Old system's free. We have a spare breakaway cable. Heaven forbid we ever need one. All right. Now on this, I do not believe it's going to make any bit of difference what side goes to the trailer harness and what side goes to the box. Again, I could be wrong. That's something we'll figure out later, I guess. It's not like I can't redo it. But being that it's simply a switch, I can tell you with near certainty that it doesn't matter. Okay, last wire here, and then, unlike the previous guy that wired this, I'll actually shrink the heat shrink in these connections. Brilliant, I know. I did find that the screws for the old box, being as ridiculously long as they are, will not work with this new one. They're not long enough, unfortunately. So I'll have to source some new screws, or maybe I'll find some longer bolts and drill the holes out and tap them. We'll see. Right now we'll do the proper thing and actually make this weather tight though. This is what's going to keep any of the moisture out off of that connection. Any added resistance in any kind of electrical system like that can wreak havoc on the system. Very important that it's weather tight when it's exposed to elements like this. That's how that's done. In typical fashion, I do not have any hardware that's long enough to mount this new unit. So we're going to take a trip on down to the hardware store. couple different options. Thankfully I did. Turns out a number 12 2.5 inch is just what I needed. And it does appear that the holes already line up, like it's a universal bolt pattern. You know what? On second glance, no, they don't. Not even remotely close. The width is correct. Height between the old box and the new box is not going to work on this. So actually what I'm going to do, it'll work fine with 2, but I'm going to move it up and use the bottom holes so I don't have the box hanging off to get hit on anything. So I'd like this one to last more than what that last one lasts. 6 years maybe? 5, 6 years? Not long enough. So what I'll do is I'll use the bottom hole on the box and the bottom hole on the mount. That should put it about where it was. It clears the frame rail. It's not hanging below it. So that'll work for that. Now I just got to get all this tied up, shoved back in that hole. In whatever sort of way. Maybe. I guess I could have trimmed those wires a bit. Oh well, live and learn, right? I'd say it's got plenty of extra. One thing I don't like is those wires not having loom, so I'm going to go find some loom. We're going to put some new loom, probably even on that section. We'll see what I got. There's still a piece of loom from the old box, so we'll just use that. That's all there is to it. And if you look, hit the test button, I got a full charge battery. I would say that's working exactly how it's supposed to. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.